Negative O infinite affinity text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 2 text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 3 text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 4 text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 5 text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 6 text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 7 text too small. Negative infinite affinity times 10 text too small. Infinite affinity s dot p dot b dot e dot m dot I cubes text too small. Infinite affinity s dot p dot u dot m dot j cubes text small. Infinite affinity s dot p dot u dot m dot j dot t cubes text small. Infinite affinity s dot p dot u dot m cubes text small. Infinite affinity sub 4 duper cubes text small. Infinite affinity sub 4 cubes text small. Infinite affinity double cubes text small. Infinite affinity cube text
Infinity times infinity equal text to small. Infinity square
small. Infinite affinity square texts infinite affinity times master affinity text too small. Infinite affinity times graph-finity text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute subdet of fusion text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute Hallway affinity text too small. Infinite affinity times goals affinity text too small. Infinite affinity times 2 dot affinity text too small. Infinite affinity times super dot affinity text too small. Infinite affinity times dot affinity text too small.
Infinity times more affinity s b u cube infinity times more affinity text to small. Infinity times affinity text to small. Infinity times affinity text to small. Infinity times mega affinity text. Infinity times super affinity score text to small. Infinity times super affinity absolute never text to small. Infinity times super affinity text to small. Infinity times to affinity text to small.
Infinite affinity times absolute never 10 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never 7 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never 6 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never 5 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never 4 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never 3 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never 2 text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute never text too small. Infinite affinity times capital there cube text too small. Infinite affinity times capital there text too small. Infinite affinity times absolute every number text too small. Infinite affinity times 4x power 4x text too small. Infinite affinity times 3x power 3x plus 4x text too small. Infinite affinity times 3x power 3x plus 3x text too small. Infinite affinity times 3x power 3x plus 2x text too small. Infinite affinity times 3x power 3x plus 1x text too small. Infinite affinity times 3x power 3x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x plus 6x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x plus 5x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x plus 4x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x plus 3x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x plus 2x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x plus 1x text too small. Infinite affinity times 2x power 2x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 9x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 8x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 7x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 6x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 5x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 4x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 3x text too small. Infinite affinity times 1x power 1x plus 2x text too small. Infinitefinity times 1x power 1x plus 1x text too small. Infinitefinity times 1x power 1x text too small. Infinitefinity times 9x text too small. Infinitefinity times 8x text too small. Infinitefinity times 7x text too small. Infinitefinity times 6x text too small. Infinitefinity times 5x text too small. Infinitefinity times 4x text too small. Infinitefinity times 3x text too small. Infinitefinity times 2x text too small. Infinitefinity times 1x text too small. Infinitefinity times n(x) is the original text too small. Infinitefinity times absolute everything text too small. Infinitefinity times absolute wings infinity text too small. Infinitefinity times absolute infinity text small. Infinitefinity times infinity text small.
Times 1 to so text to small. Infinity times 1 quadrillion text to small. Infinity times 9 billion text to small. Infinity times 8 billion text to small. Infinity times 7 billion text to small. Infinity times 6 billion text to small. Infinity times 5 billion text to small. Infinity times 4 billion text to small. Infinity times 2 billion text to small. Infinity times 1 billion text small. Infinity times 100 billion text small. Infinity times 10 billion text small.
Infinitefinity times 1 billion text too small. Infinitefinity times 100 million text too small. Infinitefinity times 10 million text too small.
Infinity times 6 billion text too small. Infinity times 5 billion text too small. Infinity times 4 billion text too small. Infinity times 3 billion text too small.
Infinitefinity times 2 million text too small.
Infinity times 1 billion text small.
Infinitefinity times 100,000 text too small. Infinitefinity times 10,000 text too small.
Infinity times 4,000 text too small.
Infinitefinity times 3,000 text too small.
Infinity times 2,000 text small.
Infinitefinity times 1,000 text too small.
Infinitefinity times 999 text too small.
Infinity times 200 text small.
Infinitefinity times 100 text too small. Infinitefinity times 30 text too small. Infinitefinity times 20 text too small. Infinitefinity times 12 text too small. Infinitefinity times 11 text too small. Infinitefinity times 10 text too small.
Infinity times 9 text small. Infinity times 8 text small. Infinity times 7 text small. Infinity times 6 text small.
Infinitefinity times 5 text too small. Infinitefinity times 4 text too small. Infinitefinity times 3 text too small. Infinitefinity times 2 text too small. Infinitefinity times 1 text too small. Infinitefinity plus 1 million text too small. Infinitefinity plus 100,000 text too small. Infinitefinity plus 10,000 text too small. Infinitefinity plus 1,000 text too small. Infinitefinity plus 100 text too small. Infinitefinity plus 10 text small. Infinitefinity plus 1 text too small. Infinitefinity small.
Infinity times 0 5 text small. Infinity text small.
Infinitefinity minus 2 text small.
Infinity minus 5 text too small. Infinity minus 10 text too small. Infinity minus 100 text too small. Infinity minus 1,000 text too small. Infinity minus 10,000 text too small. Infinity minus 100,000 text too small. Infinity minus 1 million text too small. Infinity minus 10 million text too small. Infinity minus 1 million text too small. Small